So we're going to start with this. The drawers come out, the space where I've marked just shows there. That circle, that's where the argon bottle is going to go. Then I'll notch out the drawers so that the argon bottle can pass through and they can still open and close, obviously. So step one is to take the drawers out and cut a hole. So that's the big drawer, and you can kind of see where I've marked it there. That's the notch I've got to make in that drawer. Similar with the middle drawer, but I'm a bit lucky with that back drawer. It's plastic and it doesn't go the full depth, so I think I should be able to heat up that back corner and push it in. 10 mil I think is all it needs, and then that drawer will be done. Here's the setup for cutting the hole. Ignore that. Just quick and ready jig thing to hold this, which I've never really used before. The plan is and hope for the best. I won't film it. Well, that went well. Went to use my plasma cutter, which is, I've only used it 3 times, and it wouldn't start. And when I looked inside, typical Chinese horror story, I found a component that wasn't soldered properly. The high frequency board was just flopping around on its mounts because of the way it was put together. I'll try and do a separate review on these things because they're not cheap. It was over $300, and I'm in contact with the people I bought it from. We'll see what happens. So back to the old jigsaw. To give clearance on the back drawer, what I've done is I've cut the back off, including the liner, and all I've got to do is glue it back in, something like that, and that'll give me enough clearance for the top drawer and the gas bottle. Here it is after shortening it. You can see how much I took off. The staples that to hold it while the polyurethane glue expands and dries. I'll probably just paint them black and run a bead of black silicone around there. But the main thing is, this is just for small bits and pieces for the welder. It now clears the hole. Right, just showing how handy this magnetic vise is. All the holding power runs along the magnets, obviously, and the larger the piece the more stable, but it's still handy for things like this. I haven't bothered to drill a pilot hole or anything. So I've folded up this bracket out of fairly thick sheet steel, 1.6mm, thicker than it needs to be, but it's handy stuff. To fold it I have to score it with the grinder first before I put it in that metal break that I made, because it's too thick. And then what I'll do is I'll where I've punched those holes in there, the plan is to puddle weld it and then cut out that back section so it'll clear the gas bottle. So I've puddle welded it in place. I'll mark through from this side to the other side and cut that section out, and it should be ready to put back in after a bit of black paint and clean up. It's cut out, it's plenty strong, as strong as it was before. Part of the reason I'm going through this is I've been trying to use this MIG welder gasless, but I think my wire is particularly nasty, but it's just such a messy process. The weld looks like it's got leprosy. It's horrific, and it's smelly, and it's just so dirty. I realised the back of this drawer was actually removable, so I've just moved it in, but because I was feeling a bit lazy, but I think I am going to make use of that space that will otherwise be wasted, so I'll cut that up and bridge the gap with some steel. So here's the finished drawer. I'll just get a picture from the other side. I'd already casters to it. It had little plastic casters that weren't very strong, and I've just added this bit here to support the gas bottle. Just bent up a piece of the same 1.6mm steel I've been using everywhere else. Plenty strong enough for this. Well, there it is, more or less finished. I don't see any point in repainting it. It's powder coated, I think. It's pretty tough. It's going to get filthy anyway. The gas bottle is a nice snug fit in there. There's still room for a plasma cutter. Obviously my plasma cutter is toast, and I'm still trying to get something back from the Chinese shop that I bought it from. It's not looking good. The ring around that bottle is just that sleeving you can buy at the hardware shop for electrical cables. So top drawer for all the bits and pieces. Consumables, that sort of thing. And mask and bigger stuff. Inside it all works pretty well. The handle is from one of my toolboxes, which I've got under the workbench, so it doesn't need a handle, so I just thought I'd repurpose that. What I'm going to do next is work out some way of doing the cable management for the welding cables, something in the middle I think, and then I've got to make a caddy for a small one of those miniature oxyacetylene or MAP oxygen kits that I've got that'll live somewhere on this cart as well. The caddy that it comes with is absolutely horrendous, so that'll be another project. Anyway, I hope somebody got something out of it. It's a good way of using stuff that's going really cheap and is really strongly made. That cabinet is very strong, and I can stand on that without any problems. I think it cost me $20 or something, so there you go.